come in?
Yes, come.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Have a seat. Shall we call you Manorama or Pooja?
So my name is Pooja.
Pooja.
Manorama is my mother's name.
Okay. Have a seat, Pooja. Pooja is from Pune, Maharashtra.
Yes.
And Pooja has taken anthropology.
Yes.
And you are a medical doctor.
Yes.
All right. And coming to your services, IAS, IPS and IFS.
Yes.
And your hobbies include doodling, abstract ideas, okay?
Yes.
Conducted research on domestic violence, health issues of geriatric patients,
Yes.
okay? And painting, played badminton, organized as secretary, National Medical Research Conference, leadership of winning village in water harvesting competition.
Yes.
Leadership of winning village in water harvesting competition.
Yes.
What exactly is this?
Sir, actually this was a competition organized by Pani Foundation in Maharashtra. So it had, because since drought and is a very major problem in the rain shadow areas of Maharashtra, so this competition was organized for the best use of water harvesting techniques in the
Okay.
village.
Was it an essay or was it a slogan competition?
No, sir. We had to create water harvesting structures in the village, like contoured trenches and engineering of the whole village. So it was
Was
basically
it a
an asset
competition?
creation.
Is it a competition?
Yes, sir, it was.
So how many participants were there?
Sir, from like almost all the gram panchayats in Maharashtra had participated. They had made different blocks, so division wise. So almost all the gram
So you had
panchayats.
organized this competition.
So I had organized the effort in the village. So like the representation of the village, we had organized.
Of a particular village.
Yes.
You were representing
Yes.
that village. Okay. And also Pulse Polio program also.
Yes, sir.
So tell us, Pooja, what are the evils associated with the medical profession? Positive things everyone knows. What are the evils? And those evils which you will concentrate on once you become a district magistrate. In that capacity, what exactly are the improvements that you are going to make in the medical profession, trying to remove some of the evils associated with this noble profession?
Sir, I think more than so if we consider it in ethical terms as an evil, then sir, we can say commercialization of medical practice, where it has, in many cases, we can see it has changed from being a noble profession to a profit motive. So this is one thing. So second thing is I feel the reluctance of the doctors to work in rural areas. This is one of the problems.
Okay.
So the third is concentration in private healthcare rather than public healthcare. This is the third. Sir, as a district magistrate.
Any others?
So high cost of medical services. That is one of the.
Generic versus branded medicines.
Yes, sir.
Freebies given by the various companies
Medical
to the
representatives.
doctors.
Yes, sir.
Are they not evils?
Sir, freebies, yes, we can say they are. But sir, in generic and branded medicines, we can still see a debate.
Yeah, so people write the branded medicines more, whereas the government policy is
Yes, sir.
the same salt one should write generic medicine.
Yes, sir.
So
That
will
is
it
correct.
not come under the category of evil practice or unprofessional practice?
Yes, sir, we can call it an unprofessional practice.
Okay, so what will you do to get rid of this as district magistrate?
So, in case of generic and branded
No,
medicines?
generally about whatever you can do as a district magistrate to bring about an improvement in the health services, getting rid of these things, unprofessionalism, not going to the rural areas, absence from the PHCs, you see.
So this will need efforts on multiple fronts. not one policy or one
Just come
initiative.
out concrete steps. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes, sir. Sir, in case of doctors not going to the rural areas, as a district magistrate, I can incentivize doctors, like it was done in one of the Madhya Pradesh districts, where doctors were given at par remuneration, and specialists were invited to the district hospitals. So this can be done. And so second is about generic and branded medicines. So we can put an oversight over whether these things have been are being followed in practice or not. And sir, the third one about commercialization of medical services. So here also as a district collector, I think monitoring and paying attention to what exactly is happening in the district. If we increase the monitoring, then I think most of this can be solved.
Okay, just 1 or 2 things I wanted to ask you, your views. Should government doctors indulge in private practice? Which is quite common nowadays.
Sir, I feel as a government doctor, presently by rules and regulations, they are not allowed to have private practice. So secondly, I feel that when you are in a government job as a doctor, it is a 24/7 calling. So doing private practice along with it might compromise the efficiency in delivering services at the government hospital. So I think it should be restricted.
Okay. What is your view about institutionalized deliveries? What can you do to increase the institutionalized deliveries?
So the major problem in not having institutionalized deliveries by women is because of lack of awareness of the problems that can happen. The DIs which are present have been doing this. So we can, as the ASHAs and ANMs, we can strengthen them to increase the enrollments for institutionalized deliveries.
Okay. Why is it that C-section has become very popular nowadays instead of the normal deliveries?
So there are two reasons. One is a medical reason, and one is a we can say a commercial benefit motive. So the medical reason is that late marriages and complicated pregnancies, like high risk pregnancies, have increased over the period of time. So the requirement of cesarean section has increased. So the second trend we can see is in even where normal deliveries are possible, for profit motives, private sectors are following cesarean sections instead of normal deliveries.
Okay. My last question to you would be not related to the medical profession as such. What are the issues that arise in a referendum? Do you think referendum is a good method to take a decision on a particular policy?
So can I take a few seconds?
Yeah, surely. Think about it.
Yes, sir. Sir, first to address your first question, the issues with referendum. So the issues can be informed public choice. In many cases, people do not have proper information to make a choice on an issue. So that could be one of the major problems with a referendum. So second, the use of referendum. Sir, it will depend on what kind of policy or decision it is being used to make.
Don't you think the views of the minorities are suppressed in the case of a referendum?
So the minority views might be recorded, but since the numbers are less, it can.
Do you think Britain is regretting the decision which it took to come out of the European Union in form of Brexit?
So the stand of Britain has been that it means that it wants to stay out of the European Union. But sir, I do not have much information.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Pooja,
Yes.
which are the favorite areas of your interest as far as the anthropology is concerned?
Socioeconomic anthropology and tribal anthropology.
Tribal anthropology.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you are posted as Joint Secretary in the Ministry of Sports. And you have to make some policies about selection of sports person. How will you deploy the knowledge of anthropology in that?
So there's a branch of anthropology, which is skin anthropometry or anthropometry, which uses biological measurements depending on which the body types are classified, and depending on that, a suggestion is made for which body type is suitable for which
what
kind of
sports?
sport. So this can be used as.
Okay. What about designing or devising the military weapons?
Yes, sir. Designing a military weapon, when it has to be used, it has to be very precise, and the maneuverability should be good for the operator. Right. So the measurements for that has to be very well taken, because the precision will depend on the operation of that. So anthropometry helps in this.
Okay. Now, you must have studied the concept of Jajmani system.
Yes, sir.
So what is Jajmani system and why did it decline?
So Jajmani system was a traditional system based on providing a particular kind of service to the judgeman. So a judgeman had many patrons. Different kind of services were provided, like, say, for example, a washerman or a goldsmith was providing service to the judgeman. And in turn, he was getting patronage from that judgeman for generations together. Sir, there are 2-3 reasons for the decline of the system. So the first reason, we can see changes in the rural society itself. So second is empowerment and increase of social mobility of these so-called lower castes, which have
service
changed.
Providing class.
Yes, sir. So which have changed in occupation.
Okay.
So the third reason is the subsequent generations have not followed the system which was present. So
okay. Can you cite some technological reasons also? Certain inventions which has led to the decline of certain type of services. You want a hint?
Yes, sir. Like daily use appliances, say for example, a washing machine has replaced a washerman's service. So
okay.
In
what
that
else?
Context.
A service which was requisitioned almost daily, or maybe at least every alternate day, besides requiring it once a month, that has been replaced. The daily service has been replaced at least. Barbers, the
yes,
shaving,
sir.
the safety
yes,
razor,
yes, sir.
nail cutter and safety razor.
Right, sir.
Okay. If you have to compare the condition of the tribals in our country and tribals of certain countries in Africa, what would be your conclusion? What are the common things and uncommon things, or where the tribals societies are comparable and not comparable?
Sir, first I feel on the basis of occupation followed. Sir, majority of the tribals in India are not following the traditional occupations which they used to follow. Though there are tribes which are still following the traditional occupation. So whereas in many of the tribes in Africa, like the Zulus and the other tribes, they are still following the traditional occupation. Sir, second is the movement of these tribes. Sir, in India, most of the tribes are following a settled kind of occupation, whereas in Africa, they are still more of nomads
itinerant
and transcendents.
Okay.
So the third, the next issue where we see commonalities is the development, where overall tribals have lagged behind the general population in terms of socioeconomic indicators and other development parameters. So this is one of the commonality. And state-wise, if we see recognition of these tribals, It has been done by states in Africa, by countries in Africa, as well as in India. So these are the comments.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
As a leader, you are a leader in a project related to some village,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes.
And you came first there.
Yes, the village one.
Village came first. What different did you do that you did better than the rest?
So I think our major focus was on Shramadan or voluntary labor. So, sir, we formed different teams. Like for example, I was taking part in leadership of women. So motivating them to give Shramadan. So we had almost the whole village contribute in this exercise.
What did you do yourself physically, personally?
So first of all, we took small meetings in the wards. There are 7 to 8 wards in the village. So we took ward meetings, and in that I told them the importance why this is necessary for the village and how it will lead to long-term benefits. And though this was only a voluntary work and they would not be paid, how it would impact them.
Okay, now that was wonderful. The villagers did something, they wouldn't be paid. You just mentioned that you will incentivize doctors to go to rural areas. You must have heard of Dr. Kotnis.
Sorry,
Dr.
sir.
Kotnis.
No, sir.
There is a
I'm
film
not-
called Dr. Kotnis Ki Amar Kahani.
Okay, sir.
Please see that film.
Yes, sir.
It's about what a doctor should be.
Right.
Have you heard of a name called Dr. Manish Rawat?
No, sir, I haven't.
Oh, I'm surprised you haven't heard. This is in the newspaper for the last 7 days. He was in Safdarjung Hospital taking money for, expediting the treatment, and then he was sending people to a particular shop to buy medical equipment required for surgery at very expensive cost.
Okay, sir.
So that
So
would
I
be
will read it up.
something of interest to you.
Yes.
So what comes to my mind is that in India, the sense of service is all gone. I think that's only left in the army. Vikram Batra never asked for a bonus. Vijayan Thapar, Veer Chakra, he never asked for a bonus. Major Lieutenant Vijay Pandey, Manoj Pandey, Paramveer Chakra, never asked for a bonus.
Right.
So where are we headed? Doctors also want to go to rural only on incentives. And Dr. Manish Rawat, I told you. And of course, we all hear that corporate hospitals all set a target like other corporates.
Right.
So is the medical service heading to the right direction? What needs to be done?
Yes, sir. There has been a large proportion, like you said, the army discipline and the army ethos are definitely much in high regard. Sir, in medicine also, I think there is a section of people where this nobility of the profession has gone. So the major thing is, I think the major thing needed is attitudinal change in case of the doctors, because even if we incentivize them, as you said, it is a temporary measure and it might not change what lies in the core. So, sir, strengthening of medical ethics, making sure that the conduct rules are followed, medical ethics, professional ethics is followed. I think
See,
that is,
I think it has to come from within.
yes, sir.
Because for a person who's sick, the doctor is next to God,
Right, sir.
right? He thinks that, oh, God will save him. And the doctor is the reincarnation of God here on earth. So when the people start behaving in that fashion, he doesn't really know where to go, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. India took a certain position on Russia-Ukraine war, right? Kind of a neutral position. They
Yes.
did not condemn Russia. China also did the same. Then the Chinese President Xi Jinping went to Russia and made some kind of a statement which put him in the Russian camp, more or less. Now, how do you see Russia responding to a India-China border problem? Can India expect a support from Russia, given the fact that whilst both China and India have kind of leaned towards Russia, they've not. China has categorically made its position far more clear indirectly.
Sir, though Chinese closeness to Russia is worrying for India, But sir, I think in the past 1 decade, India-Russia relationship has been the most stable relation, bilateral relation in any two countries taken together. So secondly, we have a long historical relationship with Russia. So I think, sir, only by basing it on one factor that China has sided with Russia on the war, I don't think that should impact India-Russia relation in a very big way.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay.
So, Pooja,
Yes.
okay, suppose you have 5 things like money, power, prestige, and career. Can you list them in order of priority?
4 things.
4 things, yeah. Money, power, prestige, and career growth.
Ma'am, first for me would be career, then would be prestige, then would be power, and then would be money.
So, money you would keep at the end.
Yes, ma'am.
What are your 4 principles that you follow in life?
Ma'am, first I try to take a balanced opinion on things. Ma'am, secondly, I have this thing of critically evaluating everything before making a decision. Third, I follow is try to reach perfection, though it is not possible, but I am a bit tilted towards perfectionism. And ma'am, fourth, I follow is giving the other person or the other situation a benefit of doubt or compassionate outlook. Ma'am, these are the 4 things I follow.
Okay. What do you think about reservation? Should it be economic or otherwise?
Ma'am, reservation as a policy was brought in for social, mostly for social reasons. But now the inequalities have changed, and there is a lot of intermixing of caste and class and economic and social indicators. So, ma'am, I think with the changing situation, we can consider reservation based on caste as well as on economic indications.
If you were to choose one amongst the 2,
Ma'am, then it should would be based on social conditions rather than on economic.
okay. What do you think is the difference between a leader and a manager?
Leader and a
Manager.
ma'am, I think a leader can be a manager, but it is difficult for it may be difficult for a manager to be a leader. Ma'am, I feel leader is a more broad and a person who manages as well as who strives for a certain outcome. That would differentiate him from just a manager.
Okay, last question. I will give you a hypothetical situation.
Right.
Suppose Gandhiji, Azad, Bhagat Singh, and Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose are all alive today. Then who would you choose to lead our country?
This is a very difficult question. Ma'am, I cannot make a choice.
Just try.
Ma'am, maybe Dr. Subhash Chandra Bose.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Pooja, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, ma'am. Thank you.
I saw you've done some research on domestic violence.
Yes, ma'am.
What was your research about?
Ma'am, it was carried out in a rural health center. So it was about the prevalence of domestic violence.
What were your findings?
Ma'am, the prevalence of domestic violence in the setting was 33%. And the most common form of domestic violence was physical violence, and there was also presence of sexual
But wouldn't
violence.
most common form be emotional or mentally harassing people? Isn't that more common than people physically beating each other?
Yes, ma'am, what you are saying is correct, but it is very underreported. This emotional abuse, or this, when we're conducting a research, most of the times it is not reported. So
Does it have any connection with education also?
yes, ma'am, it has.
What is the connection?
Ma'am, an educated person, any partner, may be the female or male, he'll be in a better position. He'll have a better approach towards the other spouse.
Is that true? We see higher number of cases of domestic violence in metropolitan cities rather than rural areas.
Ma'am, theoretically, yes, we expect education to give a person better understanding and better
Okay,
accommodation.
leave all that. I'm just intrigued as to why you thought of researching on this topic. You're a doctor. You could have picked up so many other topics. Why this?
Ma'am, because felt this, that I had seen this in general while growing up also, and in my setting also, that this was something which was underreported, and we actually need to find out what.
Okay, let's say you become an IPS officer, which you aspire to become, obviously.
Yes.
How will you handle domestic violence in your area? What steps will you take?
The major problem in domestic violence is the underreporting. So I would focus as an IPS officer on making it safer, making the women feel safer.
But
to
women
report.
underreported because they don't want to leave that person, or maybe some of them are not earning and they don't have any other means of feeding the children.
Yes,
so they
ma'am.
have to be with the man.
Yes, ma'am, but there are also cases where women are very scared to report. They are even scared of getting victimized by the police.
Don't you think people right now are doing it? The officers, what unique thing are you going to do? Since you've researched on this topic, what unique steps will you be taking?
Ma'am, from whatever experience I got from my research, if we can integrate this with the health reporting, for example, reporting of domestic violence in a health setting, so there the women will be in a better position to do
In
that.
health setting as it?
Ma'am, for example, during my research, we went first door to door to collect data for this. However, we did not find a lot of cooperation from women. Whereas when we organized a health camp and women were encouraged to come there, so they reported much better.
Okay, you're from Maharashtra.
Yes,
There's this very weird kind of trend which is happening in Bid, where women are getting their uterus removed. Do you know why that's happening?
No, ma'am, I don't know the details of it.
That's all right. Since you're from Maharashtra, I want to know from you why GST collection in Maharashtra is very high as compared to other states.
Ma'am, one of the major reasons is that Maharashtra is an industrial hub, and the production of goods and services is also high. So, ma'am, the GST on the goods and services total collection is high because the base of collection.
Isn't that just common sense? But there are other reasons why specifically in Maharashtra it is higher as compared to Karnataka or Gujarat. They are also industrial hubs.
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, then I
Okay,
do
tell me
not
why
know.
RBI is continuously increasing repo rate.
Ma'am, taking into consideration the global financial situation first, and second, the major reason is inflation targeting. So it wants to reduce the inflation rate in India. So,
But when they are increasing the repo rate, what are they doing to money supply?
so they're trying to reduce the money supply in the economy.
They want to take the money out of the
Yes.
economy.
Yes,
So that they can target inflation.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Pooja, can you tell me what are 5 most important things in a prescription?
Ma'am, the format of the prescription, or
If a doctor is writing a prescription, what 5 most important things should be there in his or her mind that they cannot miss to write?
okay. Ma'am, first, as I said, writing a generic name.
Okay.
For the second is trying to write it in the local language, how many times it should be taken and for how many days.
Okay.
Ma'am, the third is other instructions, whether it should be taken at with meals, without meals. So third is, ma'am, any contraindications if they are there, that combining of two medications, or if a dose is missed, then what should be done in that case, that can be included.
Isn't date and diagnosis important?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
But you
But
missed it.
I was specifically telling about the medications, so
All right, thank you.
thank you, ma'am.
All the best to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
An academy. Let's crack it.